Hello. I always feel awkward starting these videos. Hi, my name is Bryant. I am an actor, movement artist, wellness advocate, bookworm, all of the things, and this is my channel, Better by Bribe, where we're going to be talking about things regarding artistry, wellness, and books, and all things intertwined with that. And I thought, what a better way to start off by talking about that than talking about the artistic journey. I think a lot of people who start off as artists don't really know the magnitude of all the levels that it takes. And it could be any art form. I am an actor, but there are people who are musicians, there are people who are dancers, pianists, all different types of art forms that people sometimes don't take into consideration how tough that can be, especially when going through real world things in life and trying to have your work life balance and still trying to have your artistic career and integrity and all these things. So, this video is going to be a little about my artistic journey, things that I've learned within the journey of being an artist, and maybe some tips that could help you with your own journey, because the beauty about it is it's not a one sided thing. It's not a one way to do it. There's so many different ways to be an artist and to expand your artistry and have growth. So for me, I started off wanting to be an actor when I was maybe in the 6th grade. I was very shy. I still consider myself very shy, but I was very shy at 6th grade and saw people auditioning for school plays and all that stuff. And I never took a chance on it because I was like, I don't want to do it. Oh my God, eyes on me, attention, all that stuff. And I finally, years later, mustered up the courage to do audition when I was in the 10th grade. And granted, it was audition for a background role. And I still remember my drama teacher telling me that I needed to yell and speak louder and all that stuff. And I was just like, ugh. But I remember being in it and I remember loving it so much and just having it fuel me and knowing that this was something that I wanted to do and this was something that I wanted to pursue in any way. Then fast forward, go to college. I have a degree in cinema studies and I'm more behind the scenes and kind of like doing things related to film, but not actually putting myself out there because, again, shy, wanted to be in film in some aspect, but I was kind of still nervous, especially going again to college and meeting new people and trying new experiences. And then I got a full-time job post-college, which was, any sort of job that you would get, just like a job hired me, I'll take it. And I remember had to be a year into the job that there was one day that my boss yelled at me for a task that wasn't done or something. I remember it being just like a very inexcusable reason to yell at me for something, but I left that office and I was like, if I have to endure this for the next 10 years, and this is me like foreshadowing, just thinking, if I have to deal with this and do something I don't like for the next 10 years and not pursue something that I really want to pursue, then I'm going to regret this. What is something that I want to do and something that I've always wanted to do? And the question always came back to the answer, acting. So I scoured the internet. I looked for acting schools in the city, and then I found an acting school that I started going to. I was living a little up from New York City at the time, so maybe 30, 45 minutes away. So I found an acting school, went to this acting school, and commuted maybe an hour and a half each way after work and on weekends to go to this acting school, making the journey back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for about 2.5, 3 years, because still living at home, still, figuring out work-life balance. And I remember going into the city every time and thinking, what am I doing? Like, this is one, insane. And I keep getting beat over and over and over again with the same notes that my teacher is giving me about, like, this is not good enough. This is, you're not doing this mark. You're not having any changes. Whatever the case may be, it felt like I was not progressing in the class and having these growing pains of just like, I'm not even having fun. Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I in this acting school? And that was the growing pains that I needed to pursue this career. And granted, I have a lot of thoughts about, my first conservatory that I went to and opinions about it. But I think the most valuable lesson that I learned from it is to always have a standard for yourself and to always have a way to keep showing up even on the days that you don't want to show up, because it's very easy to get motivation to do something and keep on doing the thing. And then let's say day 12 hits and you don't feel like doing the one thing, working out, staying hydrated and drinking water, going on a walk, whatever the case may be. It doesn't even have to be health related. It doesn't even have to be related to artistry, but something that you want to do that you keep showing up and then you're just like, I don't feel like doing it. That's where you kind of break the chain. So I would still go into the city and I would still have these experiences of going to this acting class and just like being beat over the head again with all these notes, and finally making breakthroughs, which felt like forever, but making these breakthroughs and thinking, okay, I have something in me. I just need to tap into it more. I still need to work on a couple of things, but if I keep showing up, that is what's going to get me far. And I think that's one thing that people tend to forget, that it doesn't matter how strong you start off, it's how consistent you are. Because a thing that I heard many times from my teachers, they would always tell me it's a waiting game. You have to keep going in this industry and give it 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You'll start seeing people that you started off with dropping off and doing other things and just getting bored or quitting altogether. All these things will happen. And at first I was like, no, that's impossible. But now I'm 10 plus years into it and I'm like, wow, a lot has changed. And a lot of the people that I started this journey with just are completely moved on. And it truly is a game of waiting it out and pushing through all the uncomfortable moments of that. So anybody who is in that space of pursuing something artistic or, you know, wanting to try something different and they don't feel worthy or unsure, or they just feel like they're not getting anywhere with whatever they're doing, you have to keep going. There's no way around it. There's no cheat code. There's no something. You have to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable for quite a while. And this rings true for my first acting conservatory. This rings true for new places that I've gone and train where I'm like, why am I not getting this concept? But I think getting uncomfortable with being uncomfortable and just like pushing through those pains is something that is part of this job, part of this career. Because if you think about it, artistry is one of those things where you're constantly gigging, you're constantly doing different things, you're doing different dance routines, you're doing different acting jobs, you're singing different songs. All these different things are happening and you have to be prepared and you have to be resilient and you have to be able to use all that fuel and continue to be a growing artist, an adaptable artist, nice artist to work with. That's a big thing that I've learned with doing this career, that you have to be nice to people and you have to treat people with respect, because as much as it is a career about talent, it's also a career about business and a career about relationships. And who wants to work with somebody who has, you know, bad energy to them or just like unbearable to work with? So those are some like early things that I've learned through my early journeys of being an artist and being in this career. I think another part of it is the journey of grief and loss and being self-conscious and all these negative thoughts that we have. Because I'm gonna tell you, I was in this acting school and there were times that were bad, but there were also times that were good. And then, you know, you see your friends doing good scene work or your friends doing things and breaking out of their shells. And we're in this insulated bubble in this acting school and we're supporting each other and we're doing all these things. And then the real world happens and you're out in the real world and you start auditioning for different people and you start doing all these different things to get noticed and get work. And you're in a bubble at first where it feels like everything is positive, everybody loves each other, friends, all this stuff. But then the quick reality of being in the real world hits, where people aren't going to view you the way that you were viewed maybe in school, or people aren't going to give you a chance based off of your look, or, you know, there's 100 other people who look like you, and all these different things that happen in the journey of expressing yourself as an artist. And I think it took me a while to finally realize that I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And that's a good thing, because there's so many different people that are good at so many different things. So you have to kind of have your own individual way of showing yourself or showcasing yourself. I think another big thing that I was kind of learning for myself during this journey was the concept of just be you, where for the longest time I was like, what does it mean to be me? What is that word coming into play of like just be you? And who am I? What do I do? What does it mean to just be me? But I think over time, as I've learned in this artist's career and things that I'm doing, is you have to bring your own unique self to whatever you're doing, whatever medium that you're doing, whatever role that you're given, whatever the, artistic integrity is, because your individuality is going to stick out instead of trying to be the same thing as everybody else. Because there's many carbon copies, there's many people trying to be like the next A-list celebrity and all these different things, but you sticking to whatever weird or quirky or, thing that makes you stick out. I'm realizing for myself over all these years of doing this is that's what makes you stand out. And some people just want to be the same thing, but maybe that might be the weird thing that you do that somebody is like, oh, I've never seen that version of whatever that is before. So I think learning that just be you aspect makes it so much easier to tackle as an artist, and also having that integrity to know yourself artistically and not like bend over for anybody's whim. I think a big thing about artistry is sometimes it's hard to say no, because it has this feeling of this will be probably my one and only opportunity that is ever going to happen in this aspect. Keep your integrity intact with what you want to do and make sure that you're comfortable with whatever decision that you're making, because there's a lot of different people selling a lot of different things and a lot of different projects that may not align with you. So having a wherewithal of thinking, does this actually align with my artistry? Is this something that I want to do? The first couple of years, there definitely were auditions that I was like, okay, I need to warm up to, auditioning and taking roles and building up my resume and all these things to kind of like have something to look back at. But over time, you kind of start curating in a way your own career, and you think, is this work that is representative of me? And it takes a while for people to come to that realization. It could take a couple of years to realize, is this actually representative? Do I still need some work? Do I still need to do all of the small projects to build up to the bigger projects? Do I need to continue to better myself? Everybody has a different timeline. So it is only you that can realize if you feel like you're ready to do the things and do the work that it takes to build up the small credits and then put yourself out there for the bigger credits. I think in the downtime also of not having many auditions or it being slower, a lot of self-doubt and negative thoughts come in. And there definitely were periods of time where I was like, what am I actually doing? I'm working 2-3 jobs, making money, and I'm not pursuing any sort of acting or any sort of artistry or anything like that, and it's driving me crazy. And what I needed to realize, and I hope that anybody watching out there needs to realize as well, is you can make art at any time and you can do it at any time, and it doesn't need to be a perfect thing. It doesn't need to be a long thing. You just keep at it. If it's 15 minutes a day, if it's, writing a journal prompt, which I've been getting better at. Journaling has helped me a ton with processing thoughts. But if it's simply writing a journal prompt, if it's simply doing a little acting scene, if it's putting yourself on camera like this and just like practicing, being on camera, those little things will go a long way with the journey of artistry and helping yourself artistically and putting yourself out there, because we are now in such a digital age where you never know who's watching. You never know who is going to resonate with the video that you're doing. You never know what putting yourself out there will do. And I think we're coming to realize that a lot when people go viral for specific things, or when people try different mediums and they get recognized for all that stuff. So doing a little bit, whether it be even a minute a day, whatever the case may be, doing a little will pay off at the end. Similar to my acting school journey, if I decided to quit week 2 or 3 because it was too hard, that wouldn't have done anything. But I continued to show up even though I didn't want to show up. I continued to put myself out there. And can I say that it's easier? No. But can I say that I'm more skilled and equipped to tackle being on a film set or being in an acting class where I'm being given so many different directions and all these things where I just feel very lost. Yeah, I'm able to roll with the punches. I'm able to take notes. I'm able to make it work in my specific way. And the fact that I continue to do it is me wanting to better myself, because the artistic journey is not a one-sided thing, and it's a continuous thing that you should grow as an artist, because if you are unwilling to learn, then that is the death of art, because an artist keeps making art. They don't think about what everybody else is thinking. They put it out there and they continue to make art and make themselves better. So that was a little intro of my artistic journey and all things related. And I'm probably going to continue on with this talk because I feel like there's so much information that new people starting off their careers, or maybe people who needed to hear a little note, will discover after hearing it for the 80th time. I'm very much that person where I hear something many, many times and then it's finally said for the 50th time and it sparks something in me and I'm just like, oh, that meant that message. So if you liked this video, comment, like, subscribe, do all the things. If you have any suggestions for videos, please comment, because I like that. I want to continue doing these type of videos and continuing this process of expanding on artistry and expanding on wellness, books. I am a big book fan, for anybody who knows out there. So I'll probably have little citations of books or things that I learn throughout these videos and throughout the series, whatever we are creating together. But until next time, have a great day and I'll see you soon.